Mike good there? Yeah, very excited. It's a great spot to be in Selection Sunday. As I say many years, it's been my favorite day of the year since I was a young guy that knew what basketball was and have great appreciation for hearing your name called. And I know that was an excited room. As always, it's nice. We've been, I still say 6, can't count that COVID year, but 5 years in a row. One of us, Michigan State, Purdue, one of 3 Big Ten teams to be doing that. I don't take that for granted. It's pretty special. And a lot of people to thank for helping make that happen. But a little different scenario this year that, I wasn't handed a folder to dive into. We've obviously got 2 opponents to start looking at a little bit. I don't know much about Xavier and or Texas, other than they've been historically very good programs, and obviously had success enough to make this year's tournament. So, excited to be in Big Ten country, in Milwaukee. It's a place that's very, very close to us. Should be a exciting opportunity, a great region, and just really looking forward to another opportunity to go put our best foot forward with this group. We get healthier by the day. Get Perez back into some conditioning, and we've got a few days to do that now with the Friday game. So excited and looking forward to 2025 NCAA Tournament.
Brad, with some little experience in the NCAA Tournament, is there any way to prepare a team for that, or they just got to feel it when it starts?
No, they got to understand they got to understand the cliche I use, the urgency at the end. They've got to understand that. I think the Big Ten tournament helped us a little bit understand some of that. The excitement of the first game, and you can't get overzealous or too high. If you win, you got another one coming around pretty quick. So I think that there's definite excitement. Kylan and Trey have been in it. They understand. Draven last year, the group of guys that are in that locker room. Ty Rogers, AJ Red, Keaton, all been a part of that. They'll help navigate that with guys. But at the end of the day, it's a game, and it's just a little different vibe. But we'll be all right.
How does your practice week change when you can't just focus on a single team? You have to, for at least for a few days.
Yeah, and I think it's managing the extra day or two, maybe. We did practice today. Got our guys back in the gym. Yesterday was an off day. We will go again tomorrow. Tuesday will be a little lighter. We're on spring break. I think it's about keeping them as mentally fresh as everything else. We'll have opportunities to watch film on both teams and see what the uniqueness is of those teams, and then take those opportunities to look at stuff in practice. But we'll have a little quicker scout. With them playing sometime on Wednesday, early evening, I would assume, or Wednesday night, and then a day to travel before they play on Friday.
Brad, do you find that there are similarities in the way that you guys rebounded after Duke and went on a 4-game winning streak to where you guys kind of have to reset again going into this one?
I think it's different. It was a different feeling after the Duke game, because that was the perfect storm, the end of a disastrous stretch with so many sicknesses and injuries.
Okay.
I think the Maryland game was they punched us and kept punching and just caught us in a flat game. And we were 9 of 22 on layups. We haven't missed that many layups since the first practice of the year. It's just we missed a dunk, we missed threes. The ball didn't bounce our way, but they were much more aggressive, and I think that's more of the lesson to learn than the Duke game where we just really had no chance because of of everything that was going on in that game, leading up to it.
Brad, you played so many quad one games. I know you said 5 will be different, but has any team been as prepared for an NCAA tournament as this team with the schedule you played?
Not mine, no. I think we've got 5 games against, the top 2 seeds. Alabama, Texas, Michigan State twice. Who am I leaving out? Duke. So we've seen them. There's no doubt, and had an opportunity to win a couple of those games, and didn't. But I think we're in a spot where we feel that we know we can go out and compete with anybody and beat anybody, and I really believe that. And now it's it's about putting 40 minutes every single night together to be your best, and you play that schedule so that when this time comes around, you got the confidence to know you can go beat anybody.
Do you remember your first NCAA tournament game, whether it was as a fan or as a coach, or?
Man, you're asking me to go way, way back as a fan. I'm going back to John Wooden days. UCLA as a kid, as a fan, watching those. I remember some of the Notre Dame, Kelly Tripucka, and Adrian Dantley, and I remember the John Wooden, Bill Walton games, and then as a coach, my first game was as a head coach was pretty memorable game, beating VCU in the 5-12 game, on a 4-point play. So you don't forget that one every day. So yeah, it's a fun part of this time of year. It brings back a lot of great memories. You love hearing the theme song of CBS and the tournament. It's all fun.
Brad, I'm curious, what can your team learn from that aggression you saw against Maryland and responding differently or better to a first punch or 2 punches?
Yeah, we were bouncing off the walls before the Iowa game. We weren't that energetic. That's my fault. We weren't maybe as focused leading up to that game as we needed to be. There was maybe a little too much excitement after that win. Sometimes you have to come down, and when you've got quick turns, it's better to be a little more stoic and thoughtful in those moments. So, a lot to learn there. We will.
Brad, you had a deep run last year. What did you learn about going through this process?
One game at a time. Enjoy them. Make sure your team has fun. Make sure they don't try to keep it loose. Trying to keep it in a place where they're very, very comfortable. I thought our last year's group did a great job of that. Obviously, we had a humbling first 2 minutes against Moorhead. In a quick timeout, down 9-0. But I think after that we settled in, and then I think we really enjoyed playing in those games, and you got to make sure these guys enjoy that opportunity. You sure don't take them for granted. They're hard to get to.
You talk about getting handed 2 folders. How many possibility folders did you have?
We felt pretty comfortable. We were a 6. I think that it was. You start looking at all the 11s and whether those were possible playing game scenarios. We'd run all those things with, San Diego State and the kind of the bubble teams to, the Drakes and the, UC San Diegos, and we were pretty close on most of those. So there was a lot of preliminary work done, and obviously nobody was exactly sure until they make the announcement.
When you turn over the entire roster, it's not always guaranteed to get back here. So, what was key to getting another bite at the apple in the NCAA tournament with this group?
Yeah, one, we're pretty talented. The young kids are really talented. I think most importantly, the character of this group. can't speak and say enough good things about this group as people, as a group that loves to compete. This group's been really special in their love for the game. You know, there's been no jealousy. There's been no, you know, side distractions. It's just been a real focus that's been really enjoyable, you know, to have. And then, you know, our leadership has grown throughout the course of the season. Kylan, Trey, Tommy's very mature. Just to see all of that start to develop has been pretty cool, and it's all been impactful. And not without some stress. This season was as stressful maybe as any in terms of just the inability to at times to get better because of all the stuff that happened.
Coach, a lot of coaches have been commenting this week on the new landscape with NIL and all that. Rick Pitino and Steve Alford and a few others. What's your take on kind of adapting to the new reality when it comes to building a roster?
Well, I think NIL is great. I think the money in the game is that's not as big a problem as maybe just the instability of the transfer portal and kids moving around. I think that, you know, you've got to be very adept at understanding what you're looking for in the portal and be as diligent as you can in terms of your research. And character's always a piece of that, and you know, for us it is talent, yes, but you know, and then having just a plan. You just can't go take the randomness of that. It gets more challenging, I think, to find the trust and the loyalty and some of those things that maybe we all had before when we had guys for 2, 3, 4 years. You know, it's why I have great appreciation for Peyton Sanford, why that meant a lot to me. You know, seeing a young man in tears crying, and to me, one of the great things is being able to call a place home and know that 10, 15, 20 years from now you get to come back. And you know, we live that yearly here. Today's world, that doesn't necessarily get to happen, but you know, I think it's just about doing your research, being diligent. I'm extremely fortunate. I got a great staff, and I think we did a lot of really positive things in terms of those things this year in the portal and recruiting.
Brad, to dovetail off that, you admitted last year you were on the phone in Boston trying to put this roster together. With the way they've moved the calendar, do you think that will lessen, where you don't have to be the best of two masters? You can just kind of focus on trying to stay in the tournament? I
think we're much better organized this year than we were last year, leading into this, having an idea of when this is all. You know, last year was the first year of, hey, this is the Monday after Selection Sunday is when this happens.
Sure.
And
so having it the 24th now is just a better.
Yeah, that's definitely helped. Okay. And I think the other thing is that just, you know, staffs, programs are much better equipped in the research area and all of that to move forward.
Just to clarify, you'll watch game film, both teams with the players and start presenting game plans?
We won't watch them with the players too much. We'll talk about scenarios in practice. You know, we may you know, throw some actions at them that each team runs and not get real specific, but you know, okay, you know, they run this action and we'll cover it. Try not to get too specific. Don't want to cloud the situation any more than we need to. But you know, if it's one of those teams presses or one of those teams plays zone or something like, you know, we'll as a staff address that and try to prep for that.
You talked about the mentality, but more practices with your guys with Morez back. You've had a couple of weeks now where mostly full. What's your focus basketball-wise leading in?
Yeah, I think it's mostly centers around Morez. You know, I think that the best thing that happened in the Maryland game was Morez got a lot of run, and he was really tired, and And, you know, Tommy's foul trouble, he had to play extended minutes. I thought that was very good. You know, I think getting back with those two guys on the court together didn't happen. We thought that would happen in the Maryland game. I think that's something that we've got to continue to grow that. You know, it was very good for us at times. You know, I think we'll be able to do some of those things here in the next few days.
Ben, after the loss, or just going with the loss, he did say he was super excited to get to the big dance and to hear his name called. I mean, he's kind of that story of the kid that dreams in Indiana of playing in a big dance, and now he gets that opportunity. That is kind of one of the special things about today and next week.
Absolutely. I hope nobody takes it for granted. I don't. Man, I've been, you know, up early this morning, and you kind of got a nervous excitement and energy, and you know, all of that's fun. It's fun to, you know, it's what these guys go to the weight room for in July, and it's the individual work and all the development that goes into being able to do this. And you know, everybody dreams, every kid that played basketball, whether they're in their driveway or the local YMCA or the local rec centers, you know, firing up a jump shot, you know, in the last seconds, it's a game winner. And that to me is what makes this tournament so special, so special. I mean, just it's pretty cool. And now we've seen 16s beat 1s. We've seen every kind of upset. This year will provide some sort of crazy upset, and that's what dreams are made of. It's what makes basketball and this tournament pretty doggone cool.
Who did the prep work for all the potential 11s invited?
Yeah, there's a group of guys. We've got all of our GAs on it. Kind of headed up Patrick Biddle. Heads that group with J.C. Keller and Jack Bourne, and those guys are way ahead of the game when it comes to doing that. As our staff was dialing in more with Big Ten tournament and postseason, those guys were working on that kind of stuff a lot. And then there's, you know, they get the managers helping. There's a group of them that, you know, printing off stats, printing off rosters, schedules, all the analytics that are out there. So yeah, it gets pretty detailed. That folder's gotten a lot thicker since my first year in coaching, when it was kind of a roster and a stat sheet. Thank you.
Thank you.